you guys doing? We're back again with another podcast. Marcus and I are helpful and thankful and glad for your support. We got the TikTok, we got the shorts, we got all that stuff. Can you show them the TikTok again, Marcus?
We got TikTok, Big Two Podcast. Not only do we got TikTok, we got the YouTube up as well. Let me pull that up for everybody right now.
There we go. And that's at the Big Two Pod right there.
Here, let me pull it up on the screen so you guys can see it.
And have we been putting out shorts too, Marcus?
One so far.
All right, yeah, we're gonna try to put out some more shorts. Oh, we have the phone. Do we have the phone?
It's on my phone. Yeah, we have.
All right, so we're gonna do this. All right, so
shorts on the phone, everybody.
Yep. All right, so we'll be putting out shorts and TikToks this week. All this week we'll have direct, at least about 5 of them on each one, and we try to get each series. All right, we'll try to get shorts and TikToks for each series. And then also we'll have a playlist. We already got our playlist mapped out on YouTube. We'll post all the videos in the playlist. We'll be going live only on Twitch, and we'll be posting videos on YouTube. So follow us on all of those channels, support us, and that's how you get our content. So first game we're going to talk about, Marcus, is what? What are we talking about first?
First game we're talking about is the Nets versus 76ers.
So next 76ers. All right, so that was a quick series. What did you learn about that series, Mark? Did you learn anything new? Because the Nets was your team. This is why I'm giving it to you first.
All right. So what I saw from the game is you need stars. Okay, you need stars. Even when your best players in playing, they have more stars than the Nets. Don't get me wrong. I love watching the Nets play just because they fight hard every day. It's just a bunch of role players that are saying, "Hey, we are trying our best out here." Some of these players have actually stepped up to the plate. I really like how Nick Claxton didn't take that matchup with Joel Embiid personally. He was like, I'm going to go down in there and I'm going to grind. Spencer Dinwiddie is trying to go toe-to-toe with Maxey and James Harden. And then Cam Johnson is being what I thought Cam Johnson was a really good role player, but not really somebody who can step in that number 2 role. Mikal Bridges, he is a solid number 2 to me, but can't step in that number 1 role. The thing is, when you look at the box score from the last night's game, Philly won 96-88. Tobias Harris had a really good game. Tobias Harris is a guy that I look at and be like, he's a solid 3. He can be a 2 at some times, like he's a solid 3rd person that's on the championship team. No Joel Embiid for this game, so he had to step into a number 2 role, while James Harden was the one that initiated the offense. But my takeaways from this game is just that, hey, they got better players than you. That's all I got. What you got, TJ?
So, a lot of times with the Nets, what I noticed was they didn't really have a player that can really dribble. You know what I mean? And the reason why that's important is when you can't really dribble, it doesn't really allow you to kind of get others involved. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Because if you can't get others involved, it's kind of like a lose-lose. And when you're losing in that manner, it's going to make you not want to play the best defense, because now you're working so hard to get your buckets that you're not really able to kind of understand, like, all right, where can we find the mismatch? All right, so playoffs is about mismatch basketball. Marcus knows I like talking about this, because mismatch basketball is really important during the playoffs, because sometimes you can like waste energy trying to get a bucket if you don't really have the right people trying to get one. All right, so that means Mikal Bridges, you're a very good player. We know that. Everybody knows you're a very good player, but should you be a number 1 option? You know what I mean? What do you think, Marcus? Do you think Mikal Bridges should be a number 1 option?
Absolutely not.
So with that being said, is if he's not a number 1 option, then you're basically looking at a guy trying to be not Kobe, not Curry, but he's trying to give you at least Kyrie Irving level production. And when you don't have the dribbling skills, when you don't have the shot creation, or if you don't even know how to get others involved, it kind of allows you to not be able to play the best defense now. His main skill was to be a defender. You know what I mean? His main skill was not to be like a James Harden, a Kyrie Irving. All right, so you have to understand that usually in the playoffs you're trying to give the ball to those players. So the main problem with that series is like when I go to that series right here on my computer, and I just pull up the overall stats of that series, right? And it's nothing against Mikal Bridges. I love Mikal Bridges. Like Marcus will tell you, I thought he was the best two-way in the league a couple years ago, but they basically took him out of that. So when you take him out of being that two-way, right? You force people to not really. You force him not to be his best self. Like life in general is about roles. Me and Marcus talk about it all the time. So like in order to play your role, Mikal Bridges needs to be in a spot up, dribble a couple times, pull up. So this year with Brooklyn, let's look at his numbers. He scored 26 points a game, a lot of points. That's a lot of points. All right, now let's go to the playoffs. In the playoffs, he scored 23 points a game. Now, why is that? Okay, that's going to be because the playoffs gets a little bit slower. You're not really running out like that, and you have to understand that your shots are going to come mostly your shots are going to become from doubles, from getting more attention. You know what I mean? So now he's a role player getting more attention. He still didn't shoot that bad. He shot 40% from the three, which is still good. That's up from what he did at 37, so that's good. He shot the same amount of attempts almost. But if you look at his field goals, it went down drastically. It went from 47 to 42, and that just means he had to force a little bit more. And then when you look at his free throw rate, he doesn't really get to the line that often. 5 attempts is really good for him, but when you look at the best players in the league, they're going to get there 6, 7, 8, 9 times in the league. And so that just opens up to foul trouble to the other team. And if you look at his steals from the previous years in the playoffs, he was averaging 1 steal a game. He's down to 0.5. You look at his blocks, he was averaging 1 a game, and he's down to 0.5. That just shows that his defense is taking a hit. His defense is taking a hit once you do all that offensive work. So you're really taking away his main skill, which is okay because the Nets have a lot of two-way players, but the problem with having all two-way players is nobody can create free others. So now you're looking at Curry to do it. You know, you're looking at Patty Mills, I don't even think was playing to do it. So the Nets just had a bunch of role players and nobody to really go to at the end of games. So when you seen some of those close games, because they didn't get killed every game. Sometimes it was just coming down to they didn't have nobody to go to. And you don't have no Embiid person. Like you had Claxton out there, guarding Embiid. That's just going to be a recipe for disaster because Embiid is just too big. And Embiid being that big going against Claxton, man, Claxton is a great defender. Don't get me wrong. Claxton is one of the best defenders in the league, actually. A lot of people don't know that. But when you look at these playoffs and you look at Joel Embiid numbers, and you just be like, you're just like, dang, man, you can't allow Joel Embiid to shoot 54% from the field. That was his highest ever. And people are like, oh, he only scored 20 points a game, but he was shooting 54% from the two. All right, not field goals, from the two. That means every time he took a two-pointer, half of them was going in. That's just hard to stop, man. You're not gonna really stop nobody with that. And he was getting to the line 8 times a game, which is actually a little bit down from last year. He was shooting 95% though. So that means he's hitting all his free throws. So he's getting 8 points off the line. He's getting half of his 2-pointers. And then he's not even attempting threes like that this year, which is good for him. All right, and he's averaging 2.3 blocks. So that means he was blocking everything you put in the paint. So Embiid was dominant. He was dominant, and I know those numbers. People are like, oh, it was just 20 and 10, 20 and 11. But it's like, man, that's a great numbers for a guy who's getting doubled like that. So as far as on the Sixers side, I liked how he played. James Harden, we got to remember James Harden is still a superstar. People like to say that he's not a superstar, but he can affect the game in many ways. And the main way he was affecting the game in the playoffs, if you just look at his assist numbers, he was averaging this year about 8 assists in the playoffs. That's great. 17 and 8 from your point guard, you're going to take that every day. And then he was getting to the line still. People always say that James Harden is a good free throw shooter. He was getting to the line 2 times. It's a lot down from 6, you know what I mean? but he's still making them at an effective clip. So if he gets there about 2.8, that's about 3 times a game, you can count on him to make them. He's getting to the line less for a variety of reasons because he's not driving as much. He can't get by his man. This is why I don't really have them getting past the next round. He's shooting 42% from 3, though. That is stupendous. James Harden is a laser right now from the 3. So they're going to need that. They're going to really need that. But I don't see them getting past that next round. The next round, they're going to be playing the Celtics most likely. And I see that being, I see that going 6, 5 or 6. I think most likely it'll go 6. I just don't see them getting past the Celtics.
Even with Joel healthy?
Nah, Joel is also not that healthy right now. Every time we get to the playoffs, him and Kawhi Leonard, both of them, man, it's something with them, those two players. It's just the season takes so much out of them. And Joel, it likes to play during the season because he wanted that MVP. So congrats on winning that MVP. But, you know, even with him managing his minutes this year, he played only 58 games this year. So with playing 58 games, you'll think that he could possibly, be able to do what he did like this in the playoffs, but for some reason he still breaks down with 58 games. And wait, that's the wrong. That was James Harden. That was the wrong person. He did not play 58 games. How many games he played this year? He played 66 games. So even with 66, that's not even 70. So we got an MVP player playing 66 games, which is already a low amount of games for an MVP. It's just showing you that people are playing less games these days, and honestly, I don't think it's a bad thing. I just don't think it's a good thing. But looking forward to that next series, but I think that Al Horford and Robert Williams are going to really make it tough on him. I think James Harden is going to have a tough time with Derek White and Marcus Smart because he already can't beat the players getting by them, so he's going to really have to shoot that 3 ball effectively. Tobias Harris, can you play better than Jaylen Brown? I don't think so. Maxey, can you match Derek White? I hope so. It's just a bunch of, I don't know. Tucker, are you too old right now to guard Jason Tatum? I think so. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like Philly's that team that's like, we're going to the playoffs every single year, but we're not going to make it past the second round. I just think that's where they're at right now. It's just like get past the first round, and then they play a better team in the Celtics second round.
All right. Shout out Paul Reed for having 8 offensive rebounds in that game. You did your thing. Yeah, I always say that because he was the last pick in this year's draft.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
So shout out Paul Reed for getting 8 boards and 8 offensive boards.
Yeah.
You did your thing there, brother.
Exactly.
All right, next thing we got to talk about is Bucks versus Heat. Right now, currently the Bucks or Miami is leading the series 2-1. Miami won Saturday night. Let me pull up the bond. There we go. Miami won Saturday night, 121-99 without a Giannis-less Bucks team. We saw both teams play every single player on their roster that Saturday night, which is not usual.
And the Heat won.
121-99. Duncan Robinson, where did he come from? 5 out of 6 from 3, 7 out of 9 from the field goal percentage, plus 20 plus or minus, and dropped 20 points. Victor Oladipo, I am so sorry what happened to you, brother. You know, I wish you the best life after basketball. I don't know if you heard about the Victor Oladipo.
Yeah, I did,
news.
Unfortunately.
But he is now hanging it up. I am glad your last game, Vic, was 19 minutes. You went 4 of 6, 8 points, 2 steals, 2 rebounds, a block, and assist. You know, you did your thing. Vic, you're going to go down as one of those what-if guys, but you had one heck of a career, man. So thank you a lot for that. Even Haslam got in and shot 2 shots in this playoff game. What I saw was just, hey, Drew and Middleton said, Giannis, we got you in 1 without you. All right, we're 1-1 without you.
Yep.
We need you back, brother.
Yeah.
We need you back. We got the 1 without you.
Yeah.
So
they need him.
it's time for you to come back.
Yeah.
Now if his injury is too hard, it just sucks. It just sucks. But from what I saw, it was just that Miami was hitting. Miami was just hitting. They shot 48% from three as a team. They got to the line 17 times versus their 12, the Bucks 12. And they shot 88% from the free throw line as a team versus the Bucks shot 66. It was just one of those games. Miami was at home. What you got, TJ?
Man, honestly, I feel like the Bucks Heat was a big proponent of one thing, and the Heat are a team that battles hard. You know what I mean? Like, have you heard of Heat culture, Marcus?
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about Heat culture?
They have the hardest conditioning test I've heard in the NBA. They have the hardest by far. Like, their conditioning test, from hearing Duncan Robinson talking about it on the podcast, they work from the best man to the last man. I bet you that's why Haslam's still there, because I bet you he is killing that conditioning test, going, youngsters, you ain't got nothing with me.
Exactly.
You know, right now, what Pat Riley and the coach Eric Spoelstra has over there in the Miami Heat organization, from top to bottom, is nothing but work, hard work, and that's what I know about the Heat culture.
So the big thing about Heat culture is that people don't understand that Heat culture is something that is built through hard work, right? So when you have hard-working players and coaches and from the GM, from top to bottom, it's going to be very, very hard to beat that team without trying on a daily basis effectively to do it, all right? And what that means is if you are coming down the court and watch it, I'm going to throw this ball to Marcus, right? And I just lackadaisically throw this ball, right? Jimmy's going to get that, all right? Like, they're going hard every time. Bam's going to get that. Like, they don't really like understand. The Bucks are kind of, I feel like that championship took a lot out of them. I feel like people aren't really thinking about how hard it is to win a championship, how hard it is to beat the Warriors, the Spurs, the Lakers. These organizations really are this is why they win, because they instill the power and the consistency in their players to be great year in and year out. And the Miami Heat do that. The Miami Heat are one of those organizations, like, they're going to play hard every single game.
Yeah.
And they're not going to give you anything just because they lack talent. And Miami Heat lack talent. There's no way you can look at that roster and tell me the Miami Heat are not lacking talent. They don't got Tyler Hero. They don't got Oladipo. You know what I mean? Like, they don't got, like, who else do they have? They got people like Matt Strus. They got Duncan Robinson who's getting DNPs now, playing again. It's just so hard for the Heat and to beat the Heat when you're not going to play your best, because they're going to play hard, all right? So that's number one. So it's 2-1. That series comes on today. I think Giannis has to play. I think if Giannis does not play today, they may go down 3-1. And the reason why I say that is because the Heat are very, 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 very solid, man. Like, they're not going to beat themselves. And Giannis is on a back injury. And this gets me talking about Giannis now. So Giannis has to understand that when you are a superstar and you're getting to the age, let me see how old Giannis is now. Giannis is 28 now. So people have to understand, when you get to the age of 28, Marcus will tell you this, those injuries start to hit a little bit different, all right? We are in the age where prime is turning into 23 into 27, all right? Prime is getting less from 28 to 32 and more from 23 to 27. And you can blame the food, you can blame whatever you want to blame, all right? You can blame the kids not working hard or the longevity of the game now, how, like, they're playing when they're 5 and AAUs and all that stuff. You can blame all that stuff. But ultimately what's happening is you're getting more injuries. It's 82 games. You're getting people going to Olympics, people playing for their home team. And then you have to understand medicine only can do so much when you're playing that long. All right? So it's really about how well your genetics is set up. So Giannis is a freak. They call him the Greek freak for real. But once you start getting older, those bones, those muscles that's been so intact, if you don't keep up that same regimen, if you don't keep up that same intensity, like stuff starts to break down. It's like an older car. So Giannis takes so much contact, and if you look at Shaq, he broke down. They call him like the modern day Shaq, and what you have to understand is you can't play like that forever. And quite frankly, Giannis just never got a shot. He never got a shot. He never played outside of the paint. He plays recklessly. So what I say, he never had a back to the basket. People better be wary of this, man. Like Giannis could just fall off a cliff in a couple years, and I don't mean to make this as a hot take. I'm just being serious. Like I feel like when you're able to do the stuff that Giannis does, you have to know that it comes with a price. All right, let's look at D Rose. Look at Russell Westbrook. All these players like that, man, like they just fall off a cliff at a certain point because they have no shot, and they didn't really work on the skill of the game. So I think right now Giannis is facing a time where this summer he may have to get in his bag, man. He may have to start going down in that post. You know, he may have to start working on that corner three. He may have to start doing more pick and rolls. So there's gonna be things that Giannis needs to work on this year that I feel like he hasn't really had the opportunity to do because of his athleticism, and he's been using his athleticism rightfully so. So tonight, if Giannis plays, I say the Bucks win. They're tied up. They go back to Milwaukee. If the Bucks don't win, I think this will definitely be over in about 6 games, and the Heat will get them. Which will be weird because then you will have a Knicks Heat series, which is the next series we're gonna talk about. The Knicks Cavs. Was that the next series? Or no?
I had Suns Clippers, but it's fine.
Oh yeah, I was gonna keep it the East. I was gonna keep the East. Yeah.
Yep.
So Knicks Cavs. This is the last East Coast team. No, we got one more after this. Celtics Hawks. So Knicks Cavs is just like, man, like when you think about Knicks Cavs, you got to understand that if the Knicks win this, Donovan Mitchell, you really have to answer to a lot of stuff because the Knicks literally turned that trade down for you, man. They turned it down for you, and they basically said R.J. Barrett is good enough. We're gonna take Brunson, we're gonna take Barrett, and we're gonna take Julius Randle, and we're gonna really make sure that we just keep this core together. So, Mitchell, you're supposed to be a step up from Randall, a step up from Brunson, a step up from Barrett. So, if you're not giving them that extra oomph on that offensive end, you really don't got no defense. We know that. So, if you're not really giving the Cavs anything extra, the question comes, where are you going to get that from? Mobley has not proven that he can be a great offensive player. Allen, that's not what he does. Garland, we know Garland can get a bucket, but it's the playoffs. He's a little bit smaller. It's harder to get your shot off. The small forward has been a problem for them all year. Caris LeVert disappears. Danny Green doesn't get off the bench. So it seems like the Cavs were built to be a great regular season team, and it doesn't seem like the playoffs was their friends. And the Knicks are a straight playoff team. They got physical play. They got guys who get to the rim. They got guys who shoot the mid-range. They got Brunson who get a bucket. He proved that last year with the Mavericks, helping them get to the conference finals. This is Brunson's time. Brunson lives for the playoffs. So Randall loves physicality. Mitchell Robinson loves physicality. So this is an old school series, and I don't think it's over yet, even though that they're up 3-1. I do think the Cavs will get at least one more, and I do think they'll force a Game 6.
Nice. I think, honestly, I'm done with the Donovan Mitchell train. I am hopping off. I thought this guy was Dwayne Wade-esque when he first got to the league. It's not just because he got to the league. It's because he got to the league and started winning. What I'm seeing now is the cap from Donovan Mitchell. Your entire career, you've been surrounded by great players. More than what other people can say when they first get to the league. Usually when you first get to the league, you're on a bad team, especially if you're a good player. The thing is, you have had all-star caliber players with you. Rudy Gobert, Jared Allen. You got Darius Garland. You got guys with you, and right now you're not being the man. Now, can you squeak this one out like you did the other ones? Maybe. But this can be real bad real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So in saying that, Donovan Mitchell, you got to do better than making 5 shot attempts a game. You got to do better than that. That's unacceptable in the playoffs. This was regular season, I don't really care. But this is the playoffs, and it's just who's better than who. So I don't got much to say about you guys, but I had y'all, we were really high on Cleveland in the beginning of the year because of their defense, their interior defense, and how they would match up against Giannis and Joel Embiid and all those other players. But what we've seen from this round is that you can't beat the Knicks. Trae Young beat the Knicks. Granted, this ain't the same year, but Trae Young beat the Knicks. We all know the chant that went down, you know. F Trae Young, F Trae. Come on now, Donovan. You've played harder teams, and you can do better than this. Darius Garland, you can do better than this. Darius, where you're at, you're an all-star now. You are.
Why do you think Darius is struggling?
I think Darius is struggling for the same reason he was struggling with Sexton.
Mm-hmm.
Darius needs to be a solid number one.
You think? Okay, got you.
He needs to have a sniper next to him. And can Donovan Mitchell be that sniper? Yes. But does Donovan Mitchell play off ball at all? No. Darius actually helps Donovan and comes off down screens. He comes off down screens and he is trying to run that off ball shooter role. But what we have learned is that Darius, you're not just a catch and shoot. You like to pat, 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 get into your bag and pull up. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I see from this game is that they're bullying y'all. Why are the Knicks bullying y'all? A lot can be said about Josh Hart's defense. A lot can say about R.J. Barrett's defense. And honestly, they're just taller than you. R.J. Barrett, what is he, 6'6", exactly? And Josh Hart is about 6'4", 215. I'm sorry, they're just bullying y'all guards. Karis LeVert, where are you? You're the third scorer on this team. I'm sorry. It's not Mobley, it's not Jared Allen. They don't have a post game yet. Yet. I think Mobley will get one. But Karis LeVert, you are the third scorer. Ricky Rubio's not playing. You know, you got Osman getting 21 minutes. That's their bench man. Osman. Now, don't get me wrong. Not terrible. But their sixth man is Osman. They have no depth. Or they're not playing their depth, you know. I really don't see somebody. Honestly, I wouldn't have started Karis LeVert. I would have had him as your sixth man. Started Osman and then just roll from there. But Cleveland only played 5 players last night. The other guys got 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 17 to 21. They played 5 players the whole night and got mollywopped. But hey, Brunson, you're doing your thing. R.J. Barrett, you're doing your thing. Y'all can't shoot well, but y'all are getting to the hole. I'll give you that. Got any thoughts on it?
No, I'm pretty much done with that series. I feel like that series it still will go about 6, and then they will have. That's gonna be a weird Knicks Heat series, man. Like nobody expected the Bucks to lose or the Cavs to really lose that. So for the Heat and Knicks to to be the 5 and 6 seed and maybe be playing in the conference finals. It's crazy. So I know the Knicks fans are happy. So shout out Knicks.
Shout out the Knicks.
So let's do the last one for the East.
Last one we got Celtics Hawks.
Yep.
Celtics won 129 to 121. High scoring game for a playoff game. Very high. We have let's see. Jaylen Brown dropping 31. Jason Tatum dropping 31. We got Trae Young getting 35 and Hunter getting 27, leading the way for Atlanta. Everybody shot pretty well. There was a lot of shots taken in this one. Not a whole lot of defense, TJ. So, going back seeing the box score for this one, because I'm not going to lie to y'all, did I really watch this one all the way through? No, I didn't. I watched the highlights. After seeing this one, what I've noticed, John Collins, you're maybe 1 or 2 steps out the league. You didn't play at all. They didn't trust you.
They've been trying to trade him for how many years?
3 to 4.
And people been asking why now.
You're seeing why. You get 25 minutes, 5 rebounds, and 5 points.
Yeah, you're seeing
Yeah,
why.
you're not seeing a whole lot of good. The Celtics did do something different this game. They changed up their starting lineup. They took Robert Williams, and put him on the bench and started Derek White.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Derek White's been started for a little bit because he's been playing great.
You got Marcus Smart, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Al Horford. That was their starting lineup for this game.
Yeah.
They did go smaller.
What do you think about that starting lineup?
It's perfect for who they were matching up against.
Yeah, but when they play the Sixers, they're going to switch that back, I think.
Notice something happened first game. I don't know what it was, but Capella hasn't rebounded since that first game when he dropped 20 boards. Capella only had 7 rebounds in 30 minutes and 10 points. Couldn't get a double-double. That's different. 4 defensive rebounds. Capella got 4 defensive rebounds. Everybody else out-rebounded him. What are you out there for? What are you giving your $100 million for? I thought it was to do a very specific job, and that is rim protect and rebound.
So what do you think about John Collins this summer?
Is it contract year?
I'm not sure. I'm talking about trade-wise.
Trade-wise? I don't know. You get 5 first-round picks or 5 second-round picks for him? You know, like,
so you think his value is pretty much shot?
I think is where James Wiseman's value is. And James Wiseman wasn't playing. But John Collins, you're not making a name for yourself. It's different than not playing and nobody's got tape on you and they're just you're still a prospect. John Collins, we see every single year. You don't show up in the playoffs. You just don't show up. It's going to be hard. Trae Young showed up. I'm not going to lie. I mean, he didn't shoot particularly well, but he shot a lot to get you 35. You know, he's like, bro, I'm putting points up.
So you think Trae Young is like, he's trying his best to get him like he's not giving him the over top production that you want from a superstar, but he's giving him enough, you think?
He's giving you 35 points and 15 assists.
Okay. Is that enough?
It's not enough when you have Dante Murray.
That's what I was going to. It's not enough when you got Jaylen Brown on the other side and Tatum, right?
It's not enough when you have Devontae Murray as your 2 guard. You know, right now, Atlanta doesn't know who their Robin is. They don't know if it's Hunter, you know, going 11 to 17, getting you 27. They don't know if it's Murray going 9 of 20, getting you 23. Lord, they don't even know if it's Bogdanovich sometimes. You know, he comes off the bench. He's like, hey, I'm splashing today. All right, so for a lot of these teams, they just don't know yet. Trae Young, that's your man.
I think right now, John Collins is one of the worst starters in the league. He had 12 points. He had 5 points. He had 8 points. He had 5 points. 1 for 7 for 3, 0 for 1 for 3, 2 for 6 for 3, 1 for 5 for 3. That's just not gonna cut it, man. I think this series is gonna be over as soon as the next game, and then you will have that Sixers-Celtics series. And I think that will be a great series for about 6 to 7 games. But I do think the Celtics will be in the conference finals. I don't think the Hawks are going to be able to be good until they ship out John Collins. They're even talking about shipping out Trae Young. So, but let's get into the West. Now we're going to get into the nitty gritty. Let's start with the Clippers-Suns.
Clippers-Suns, man. What an interesting series. Right now we have the Suns won. Beating the Clippers. What day was that? Saturday, the Suns won 112 to 100. No Kawhi again. No Kawhi. Big night from the...
No Kawhi or PG.
Yep. Sorry, PG's been out the whole year.
No Kawhi or PG.
And the only player to have more than 20 points for the Clippers is your man Russell Westbrook.
Mm-hmm.
Russ, I'm not gonna lie, you're showing the league why you are Russ. You gotta put. This is the best situation I've ever seen Russ in. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay.
This is the best situation Russ has been in his life. It sucks that he's got to play KD first.
Mm-hmm.
But did OKC have this team?
What team?
The Clippers. When you talk about all the supporting cast members, you know,
they had pretty good teams.
The talent. I'm looking at the talent. Terrence Mann. They didn't have Terrence Mann coming off the bench. Yeah, Trey Mann.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he didn't have a Highland coming off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have, you know, Gordon and Powell and Morris and Zubac and Plumlee, Covington, Batum. He didn't have those guys. These are all mid-level players. These are all mids.
Mm-hmm.
I love this situation for Russ.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen anything better. You didn't have this when you were with Washington.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have this when you were with the Rockets. This is your show. Kawhi's like, I don't really want to be doing all this right now. You know, like, it's too hard. I can see why Kawhi was like, I'm not playing. I'm not going against KD first round. Like, Kawhi learned real quick. Was it the first? He played the first 2 games?
He played the first 2 games. He was the best player on the court.
He was the best player on the court, but I bet you took a lot out of him.
Well, what happened was they're saying that his knee swelled.
Mm-hmm.
So once his knee swelled up, they were saying that it was impossible for him to keep playing. Because they said that once that knee swells, then you're gonna have fluid in there, and once you have fluid, there's no telling what's gonna happen there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's unfortunate, and it's like it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad, man, because it looks like his career is gonna come to an end.
Mm-hmm.
It's like seeing somebody so great like that is very. It doesn't feel good for it to end so fast, man. Because Kawhi Leonard at his best, I feel like is better than KD. He has better defense. He has the same offensive bag. He can dunk. He can pass. He can defend. He can shoot. He got the midi. He got the turnaround. It's just sad that his knee just won't hold up. And then you got Paul George, and he just have weird injuries, man. Like he's like AD, honestly, man, but like on a severe tip, you know, like, and people don't really say this, like the Clippers have been more injury prone than the Lakers. Like the Lakers at least got through a whole playoff series. You know, like they literally got through the bubble and when they were healthy and made it through. The Clippers, when they were healthy, didn't make it through the bubble. They were healthy. They didn't make it, man. And then years after that, Kawhi was hurt, and then it was Paul George hurt, and it was Kawhi hurt. It just always seems like they weren't gonna be able to make it. There's somebody at the front door. And so when you're able to be a person like Kawhi Leonard and to be able to win that ring when you did, shout out to Kawhi Leonard, man, because that is just like one of the things that you can't really help. Like you can't help when you're doing that type of stuff. So I don't know, man. So we'll be there in a second, and I feel like Kawhi Leonard is definitely gonna be something that we remember as a great player, but not being able to perform to his best is gonna backfire a little bit. So that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. So we'll see. Rob, we're on the way down to get you, Rob. So we feel like Kawhi Leonard is one of the best players to play. And sometimes when you have that type of skill and you don't really allow yourself to be as healthy as possible, whether it's your fault or not, it kind of takes you can tell how I'm talking, it kind of takes the greatness out of the playoffs, man. I would have loved to see PG and Kawhi play against KD and Booker. It sucks to see, man. Like, that's just something you don't want to see. So we're going to have the Clippers facing the Nuggets next, most likely. And not the Clippers, the Suns facing the Nuggets next, and that's gonna be a crazy series, man. Because you're gonna have Jokic going against Ayton, and I just want to see what defense the Suns are gonna have for Jokic. Because I just don't know, man. Like I don't know how that's gonna work for them. I think Jokic is gonna have his way in that series. I think the Nuggets have pretty good defenders for Booker with KCP and Brown. I think nobody has a good defender for KD. So you may just have to double him with Michael Porter and Jeff Green or whatever you got to throw at him. I just don't know if I'm kind of stuck on that series, man. Like when we do our preview for that series, I really want to see what the bench is gonna look like with those teams because when you look at the Nuggets, right? And this is going into the Nuggets Timberwolves, but when you look at the Nuggets, you have to realize the Nuggets are a team that don't really offer much bench support. And this is a pretty good series for the Suns to face because when you look at their team, they got Aaron Gordon playing 43 minutes last game, 41 for Michael Porter, Jokic 39, Murray 41, Pope 40, and then there's a fall off to 26 Bruce, 18 Jeff Green. Jeff Green's like 40 years old, man. And I love Jeff Green, but if Jeff Green is your seventh guy coming off the bench, you're gonna have some problems, man. And I just feel like the firepower of the Suns may get them to the conference finals. As wild as that, well, it's not wild because people think that, but I don't know because you got Chris Paul, Murray. I think Murray and Chris Paul can be a wash sometime. Maybe Murray may get the best of him, maybe Paul get the best of him. You got Jokic 8, I give that to Jokic. You got Porter KD, I give that to KD. You got Gordon Booker, I give that to Booker. And then you got KCP in there, and you got a Koji or you got Craig, and I give that to KCP, but KCP can be kind of iffy sometimes. So I feel like this series will be won based off of who can get hot, who can sustain their shooting. And I really just think Jokic will be able to get his team involved a little bit better than the Nuggets will be able to do their chemistry. I mean, the Suns, because they have more chemistry. So I'm gonna go with chemistry on that, and I think the Nuggets may get them, but I'm not very sure on that because of their depth. So looking at the Suns, when you look at the Suns, they got their bench is kind of the same way, man. Like you got Chris Paul, Booker, Ayton, Craig, Durant in the starting line. Then you got Shamet, and you don't really got nobody else. Like you don't really got nobody else after that. And the Nuggets at least had Jeff Green and Brown. So I just don't know, man. It's just complicated if one of those boys get in foul trouble. These teams, as you've seen in the playoffs, they really don't have no depth. The depth is really lacking this year in the playoffs. The teams with the most depth in the playoffs was the Clippers in the West, and it was the Lakers. And the Clippers got hurt, so they had to use their depth. So they didn't really work against the Suns. And the Suns have no depth because they got all that firepower. And then you got the Warriors. The Warriors have literally Murray. Not Murray. The Kings have, then you got the Warriors. They have Clay, Steph, of course, Wiggins, Looney, Curry, Poole, Green, DaVincio, Payton. They at least have some type of depth there. They can at least go about 8 deep of guys who've had to play during the season. So I feel like the Warriors, Lakers, and Clippers have the best depth. The Kings have depth, but their depth is kind of inexperienced. That's their problem. It's like their depth is Malik Monk, who's never been to the playoffs. Their depth is Mitchell, who's never been to the playoffs. Trey Lyles, never been to the playoffs. Horton, never been to the playoffs. So, like, it's a lot of guys that are improving. So the guys with the most depth are the Clippers, Warriors, and Lakers, and I just feel like that matters. That matters in the playoffs, and we're going to see a lot of times when it comes down to the end of the games, the teams with the most depth would be the fresher teams because when you have a player like Poole who can go off one day, or a Peyton who get a defensive stop, or if you go to the Lakers, you got Rui Hachimura giving you 25 points, or you got Reeves giving you a excessive amount of points. You got D'Angelo giving you like those aren't the stars. Anytime you can get a lot of points from anybody that isn't a star, that's really big, man. And I just think the Warriors have that, the Lakers have that, and the Clippers have that, but they didn't have their star players. So when we move on to this next series with the Suns and Nuggets, I think depth is pretty much even, and I feel like it's going to be based off of chemistry. So you may see the Nuggets really have the most chemistry in that, and the Suns have the most firepower. We'll see which one matters the most. So next series we go to is Lakers Grizzlies. We'll say the Warriors Kings for last. Lakers Grizzlies has been a series that has been kind of weird because the Lakers should be up 3-0, but they wasted a game on that second win by not just playing hard. And quite frankly, I feel like the Lakers it will win tonight, go up 3-1. But I do think they'll lose Game 6. The reason why is because Game 5. The reason why is because the Lakers struggle with consistency. So they'll win 2 in a row and then drop 1, or win 3 in a row and then drop 1. And their effort depends on how much trouble they're in. So right now, I feel like at home, it's going to be really hard to beat the Lakers at home. That crowd hasn't had a playoff game in so long. They're so energized. They're just ready for it. And so right now, when you get that much energy back in you, and you have that LeBron James and AD, and you have all that depth, and you got Ja with a hurt hand, even though he dropped about 50, it's going to be very hard to really compare anything you can really do to that. We have a leaf blower outside, unfortunately, that's going to make it hard for you guys to hear what I'm saying. Hopefully it's not too loud for you guys. So when you get to this fourth game coming up, you're going to see a lot of adjustments from the Memphis Grizzlies. I think they're not going to give Rui Hachimura those looks he's been getting. I think Dylan Brooks will stop shooting all these open shots. I think he's going to have to swing that ball a little bit more, attack the hole. The Grizzlies didn't really attack the hole that well last game like they did Game 2. They was really attacking. Tillman had a crazy Game 2, though. I think he needs to battle a little bit harder. I do think the Lakers are really playing with fire, though. And what that means is sometimes they will get lackadaisical on defense after they've been up for a while, and they'll just give up open shots. And it's like, come on, guys. Like, I know you up 20, but you can't just give open shots to teams and think they're not going to make them. So I think eventually that will bite them in the butt. But this series, I think the Lakers will eventually take this in 6. I think they go 3-1, then lose 3-2, and go back home and get that last one 4-2. The Grizzlies, they just struggle against teams with depth and veterans. They're a young team, so sometimes when they get down, that's it. Like, they don't really have the offensive firepower to fight back. So when you think of the Grizzlies, who are their shooters? Go to their roster, man. So if you look at the couple games, man, it's been a really bad series for Tyus Jones. I'm not sure what's going on with him. He is usually one of the best backup point guards in the league, but right now he has not been playing good at all. And I'm not really understanding what's going on with him because, like I said, during the season he was so good. Like, he was one of the best backup point guards. And so when you look at his production the last couple of days, he's had 0 points last game. That you can't have a game where you have 0 points. Tyus playing 17 minutes, can't do that. And then you got Luke Kennard off the bench giving you 4 points when he's there for 3-pointers. So you're getting 4 points off your bench from your top 2 players, and then you're getting the Lakers getting 16 from Hachimura, and then 7 from Schroeder. That's already 20 plus points off the bench. You know, so that's gonna be hard to beat, man. That's gonna be a hard team to beat when you're not getting nothing off your bench right there. And then you go to the game before that one, and you had the Lakers losing that one by 10, but guess why they lost that one? Because Luke Kennard had 13, you had Roddy with 9, and then you forced Tyus Jones to play in the starting lineup, so he got you 10. All right, so you literally had a bigger contribution from your bench that game. So honestly, I think it comes down to bench. In that game, you had Rui Hachimura getting 20 off the bench. So I just think the Lakers just got too many offensive weapons for the Grizzlies ultimately. And I think that's what's going to be the downfall of the Grizzlies. It's just that they don't have enough firepower to match. Going into that next series, the Lakers will either be playing the Warriors or the Kings. That is the last series we'll be talking about today. The Warriors were very, very fortunate to win that game last night, man. It came down to a Harrison Barnes 3-goal figure, So like Harrison Barnes once again misses a shot at home at the Warriors, and I feel sorry for him, but he'll bounce back, man. He'll always bounce back. It's 2-2. I do think the Warriors need to prove that they can win on the road before people just start saying the series is over. It's automatically going 6 because it is 2-2. So it will be 6 or 7. I think most likely it will be 7 because, once again, both of these teams, it's kind of hard to win on the road when you're in SAC, and it's hard to win on the road when you're in San Francisco. So I think this is going to come down to both of these teams realizing, hey, we got to get one. Which one is going to be, we don't know. I don't think the Warriors win that game because they won 2 in a row. I think it's kind of hard to beat a team 3 in a row. So I think SAC does take it, and they reclaim the 3-2 lead. And then the Warriors go back home. It's going to be up to them to protect home court. And then it goes back to SAC town. I think the Lakers will be at home waiting, though. I do think the Lakers will finish that in 6 and be waiting for the Warriors or the Kings. Looking at that matchup, I do think the better matchup for the Lakers, this may shock people, is the Warriors. I think the Warriors have nobody for AD. I think the Kings have nobody for AD. But the problem with the Kings is they're so fast. They're so fast and they don't stop running. They keep running, they keep running, they keep running. And with that being said, I feel like their speed may affect the Lakers. The Lakers like to play a little bit slower in the playoffs. They don't like to run so much. The Warriors, they can play fast, but they also can slow it down with those half-court sets. Also, the Warriors have a little bit less size. The Kings are really tall. People don't realize that. Fox is the smallest person in that lineup. The Warriors have matchup problems all across the board that LeBron can attack. They got Curry, they got Poole, they got DiVincenzo, they got Payton. They even got Clay because he's a little bit too small. They got Looney, who really doesn't stay in front of LeBron like that. So they really don't really have an answer for those switches. Now, they do have Wiggins back. Really big for them. Wiggins is really big for them, man. So they're going to need him to keep playing well like he did in that last game in order to get past the Kings and for a future round if they do play the Lakers. For the Kings, if they play the Lakers, like I said, I think they're just so fast and quick that they'll just have the ball spraying around and getting the Lakers running side to side is a great recipe to go 7 games. So I'm not saying the Kings will beat the Lakers, but I do think they'll take them further than the Warriors will eventually take them. As far as Clay, I've been very impressed with Clay this series. Clay has held his own. He's back to being that Klay Thompson on offense that he was. Steph Curry has held his own. Jordan Poole has been amazing. So shout out to him because he was going through a lot of stuff on that bench and throughout the year with the Draymond punch. Draymond accepted his role off the bench. He told Steve Kerr he'll do it again. He just want to win. So it seems like the Warriors are trying to right that ship and get on the right track with that. So I do think with the Warriors being able to not only tie this series up, but finding out to use Wiggins on offense, because they weren't really using him on offense, and he had to catch his rhythm. It's really hard to catch your rhythm when you are out for that long like he was. So I do think having the floor more spread, having him at that forward position next to Looney, probably did open that floor up for him. Having Poole out there with more shots probably did get Poole in more of a rhythm. Because some of the year he was starting. People forget that. He was starting the other year when Clay was out. So Poole probably feels like he is a starter in the league. So when he comes off the bench, it's a whole different mentality. He probably feels like he can't do nothing wrong. He's like, all right, if I do this, I'm going to come out. So I just feel like it's probably best if Draymond comes off the bench for this series. And I think that's what they're going to keep doing. And I do think Looney is a great defender, man. He really guards him really well. Sabonis. He has a great body. You can use him for fouls, so you can really attack Sabonis' body like that. And then, like I said, I do think the Warriors have a lot of depth now that Wiggins is back. Before they didn't really have the depth. Remember, because Wiggins was out and they didn't really have Gary Payton there. So now with Wiggins and Payton back, they can go 8 deep. Not many people in the playoffs go 8 deep besides the Lakers and the Clippers, like I was saying. So when you have other teams like the Suns not going 8 deep, and you got the Nuggets not going 8 deep, even the Kings, even if they do go 8 deep, their 8 deep is all rookies. You know, they're all rookies to the playoffs. They don't have experience. So the teams with the most experience usually goes the furthest, the most experience and the most depth. And I've been saying the Warriors and Lakers have the most experience and the most depth. The Warriors' problem is the road, and so we'll see if they're able to conquer that tomorrow. If not, we'll be back at Oracle or I forgot what's it called now, Marcus? It's not Oracle.
It's called
Capital One. I
Capital
don't know,
One,
something. But yeah. So we'll see if they're able to get that started again. But I am excited for this series because it's going at least 6 now because it is 2-2. So we'll see. What do you think, Marcus?
Thanks, Steph Weber. Appreciate everything you did for us. And I call him Steph Weber because he called that timeout when we didn't have no timeouts left with like 30 seconds left. You almost lost us the game. If Steph would have done that, that would have been wild. But I do like what Curry did by changing the starting lineup, putting Draymond at the bench. I don't know why he took 14 shots, but Draymond did what Draymond did. I'm loving having Wiggins back. Love it. Warriors played 5 guys really last night. That 6 guys. They played 6 guys last night. That 7th role was just tossed up between Da Vinci, Gary Payton, Moody, and Kuminga. That 7th man, Warriors are not going to go 10 deep, 8 deep in the playoffs. It's 6 deep in the playoffs for the Warriors, it's looking like right now. And Da Vinci, Kuminga, Payton, and Moody are all splitting minutes for that last 7 to 8 spot. So I really do like what's going on with the Warriors. It is 2-2, but they have to get one on the road. They have to. Do I think they get one on the road? I think they get one on the road. Game 5. I predict the Warriors win Game 5 and Game 6, and the Warriors in 6. So that's what I think is going on. I don't think it's a 7-game series. The reason I say that is because late game when you need a bucket, I've seen Sacramento go away from their guys and say, "Hey Murray, you gonna pull it?" Because what did Murray give you? He gave you the Murray night, and y'all didn't win. Murray hasn't made over 20 points for 4 games, and on Game 4 he got you 23, 5 of 7 from 3, and you couldn't close it out. Knowing good well you could have went up 3-1 against the Warriors. Now it's 2-2. Mitchell giving you 5 of 8. Your role players did their job. Fox, you got 38, but you took 31 shots. Curry got his 32, but he took 22 shots. It's about efficiency. Harrison Barnes, you went 3 of 11. Sabonis, is Sabonis supposed to be the best player on this team, or is Fox? Because I'm having a hard time figuring out
it's supposed to be Fox.
Supposed to be Fox. Sabonis, is he supposed to be 2, or is he supposed to be 2? Well, he only got 13 shots last night, and he looking like Wiggins. Like, hey, brother, I need y'all to put the ball in the post a little bit more. But now that I'm realizing he got 8 assists last night, was Sabonis trying to be Draymond? Because you can't be Draymond and get 30 a game. I'm sorry, that's almost impossible. We've only seen it one player, and it's kind of like Westbrook. But we haven't seen a big go. Jokic has a hard time with that. Jokic is the only one that we've seen that gets you rebounds, assists, and drop you 30.
Every game. Yeah, Jokic is pretty
Sabonis,
consistent.
you're learning that it's hard.
Yeah.
How does this man get 30? Because you know why he gets 30? I don't think I've seen Jokic take over 20 shots in a game. And he gets you 30 that way.
Yeah.
Sabonis, you are learning the hard way. As you gave him 14, you gave him 7 rebounds, you gave him 8 assists. You're like, yeah. That's hard, especially when you got Fox taking 31 shots in the game. That's nuts. That is nuts. Fox, why are you shooting 11 times from the three-pointer?
So does this go 7 or 6?
6.
So you think you guys don't lose again?
We don't lose again because we figured them out.
So you think you just went 4 straight?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
4 straight because 3 of them were at home.
All
3
right.
of the 4 were at home. Just got to get 1 away. That's it. You got to get 1 away. You don't want to go game 7 away.
Okay.
You don't want that. Just go ahead, Warriors. Lock in right now. Lock in. Win game 5. You'll be good for game 6.
All right. So Marcus said he thinks they're gonna win 4 straight. I already told you I think it's going 7.
Mm-hmm.
I think Warriors win in 7. I think y'all don't get the next road win. I think you guys get the last road win.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I feel like it'll be too much. Like, yeah, they'd be home. The Kings be home, but I think the pressure of Game 7 will be on both teams. That's why I say Game 7. It doesn't really matter home or away for me, because we seen LeBron James take that title away from y'all Game 7. It doesn't matter home or away, Game 7, because the pressure's on both teams. You either go home or you win. So I think that's why it goes 7. I think winning. I told you. I think winning 3 straight is hard. I really do. I think in the playoffs there's too many adjustments. I think it's very disrespectful to Mike Brown to think that he's gonna lose 3 games straight, because I feel like he's gonna see, all right, guys, this is what they're doing. This is how they're beating us. This is how they're affecting us. They changed their starting lineup. This is what we can do to change that up. So I think you're gonna see a lot of adjustments from Mike Brown next game. And to be honest with people, man, like, the Kings really haven't given y'all their best shot yet. Like, they haven't had that game where Horter has even affected it yet. You know what I mean? Horter's been terrible. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So we haven't even had that one Horter game, that one Barnes game. Murray finally had his one game. Sabonis and Fox have yet to go off really a lot together. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, their bench has been helping them. So you could be like, hey, man, if they go off, then the bench don't go off. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I do think the Warriors were very, very lucky to win that game, because to win by 1 at home is very, 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 very close.
Well, it should not have been 1.
So
like that end.
Yeah, but if Harrison Barnes makes that shot, this is a whole different conversation.
Whole different one.
Whole different conversation. So I feel like we already hit all the games. Mm-hmm. We're gonna do previews for the Lake game. We're gonna be doing previews for the next round, possibly on Wednesday, depending on how Monday and Tuesday go. You guys might see us already talking about the next round, man, because in the next couple days we're gonna have the Lakers probably finishing up Memphis. Mm-hmm. The Celtics probably finishing up the Hawks. The Nuggets probably finishing up the Timberwolves. The Suns probably finishing up the Clippers. So tonight, man, we're looking forward to some games on ESPN or TNT. Let me make sure.
Yep. Do you want to preview tonight, or you?
I already did. We already previewed it. Tonight we have. Let's see.
We have 7:30 Bucks Heat.
We have 7:30 Bucks Heat. Who you got in that?
Well, they got the Bucks.
All right, he got the Bucks
by 8. The Vegas does, and it looks like Giannis is playing. I don't see an out for Giannis. And he's not out.
It's Memphis Lakers. So you got.
Is it back home for Memphis?
No, that was our first. The Lakers just got home.
Oh, okay. So you guys are trying to go 3-1 tonight. Got you.
Yeah, Lakers at home. Remember, they didn't have home court, so they're home today.
Got you. Okay, so.
It should be 3-0. I told them that before, because like they dropped that stupid game too. Mm-hmm. That's why I don't think the Lakers drop tonight, because they dropped that stupid game too.
I think Memphis battles hard tonight and squeaks it out. Mm-hmm. I think you guys should take off again. Mm-hmm. I think you say, hey, we split it.
Yeah, I don't think they split home. Lakers are very good at home. Mm-hmm. And the Lakers haven't had a playoff game in a long time. This is a whole different crowd than it was the other day. And if you've seen that crowd was crazy.
It was nuts.
You're not winning there, bro. That crowd was crazy. And you could just see the Grizzlies' face on the bench. Like, they were just like, yo. Like, like that crowd was like... Like the crowd was just. I've never heard the crowd that loud at the Staples or Crypto.com. And what's crazy is people don't understand. LeBron James haven't given you that game yet.
He hasn't.
So
I thought it was last game. Don't get me wrong. No, I did think it was at the beginning.
AD had 31 and 15, and that still isn't an AD game. Neither LeBron or AD has given you a crazy game yet. So I feel like people are really sleeping on that fact. Ja's giving you everything he got. Ja's giving you everything he got last game. He gave you 45 points, and he had a sore calf. He got a sore hand. I think Memphis is running on fumes. I think they're running on fumes, man. They're already missing Adams. They're already missing. I just think they're running low right now on bodies. You can't really expect Bane to go for 30. Brooks ain't going for 30. Jaren Jackson has been. It looks like AD's figured him out. It looks like AD saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna guard you now," because they guarded each other last game, and we seen what happened.
Yep.
Like you could just look at the numbers. What happened when they guarded each other? And Tillman never again is doing that game too. Like we can literally say Tillman was the only reason why they even won one game. So like I'm just looking at Tyus has been taken out of the series. Totally taken out of the series.
I think they break it.
So when you see the first 3 games, right?
Yeah.
I go by trends.
Okay.
If the first 3 games Tyus has not had a good game. Bane has yet to score 30 points, so it's not happening. And then you got Jaren Jackson now getting guarded by AD. And then you put on top of that the bench. The bench is not better than the Lakers. It's just not. Their bench is really bad. I just don't know how you went on the road with that. And they had the worst road record in the playoffs. The Memphis are the worst road team in the playoffs. I think they win game 5. I don't think they win on the road in the Lakers stadium. That's a really, really hard task to do. I would be very shocked if the Grizzlies won tonight. And that's just me not even being a fan, but just looking at how much it will take to beat the Lakers, who just ran out 40-9 in the first quarter of last game with that crowd behind them. I feel like once you get a lead with it's certain crowds, once you get a lead, wrap it up. It's the Warriors, that's for one, wrap it up. It's the Lakers, and wrap it up, and it's the Kings. Those are the 3 teams in the playoffs. If you get a big lead on, man, it's going to be tough with that crowd behind them to get any type of emotion going back. And guess what happens with the Grizzlies when they go down? This is the Grizzlies' problem when they go down big. This is one of the biggest problems with the Grizzlies. It's like when you have a football team with no deep threats. You get what I mean by that? When you go down in football and you're a running team, you're done. Marcus, why are you done? Tell them about the analogy. Why are you done when you have no deep threats in football?
Oh, because everybody's going to play up in the box.
So if you're like, hey man, we manage the game. Our game is defense and running. What happens is the other team's like, okay, so you have to throw now? We're stacking the box. And we're gonna force your possession receivers to beat us deep. But when you got a Kansas City with Tyreek Hill, they're like, oh, we down 30? Bet. Launcher. The Warriors can come back from anything because they have launchers. Memphis only has 2 launchers on their team. That's Kennard and that's Bane. That's it. So if they go down big, which is possible to do again, it's over. It's just over. And the Lakers are a bad team to go down on because they play in the paint. So when they go up by 20 and 30, guess what's going to happen? Fouls. Now they at the line. So it's going to be very hard to come back on a team who wants to play slow, who gets to the line. So the only way Memphis wins this game is they come out strong. They come out and they hit us, and they don't stop hitting, which is hard to do on the road. It's hard to hit a team first on the road, man. Like, that crowd is rocking, and I just don't see it. So, ultimately, I see the Lakers kind of repeating that same performance. I've been saying the last 2 days, I really see them repeating that same performance just because they're riding on the high right now. But the Grizzlies, if you guys come out and punch in their mouth, you definitely got a chance. But those are the teams that can come back from a big deficit are the Warriors and the Suns because they got haymakers. They got KD, they got Book, they got Clay, they got Steph. If you got haymakers on your team, even the Lakers can't even come down from a bunch of points. We've seen it this year. We seen them come out for like 30 against the Mavericks. And it's because they got haymakers. You got LeBron and AD going to the basket every single time, going to the line. When you just got John Morant, we seen he went for like 20 in the fourth. It did nothing. It did nothing. He went for 20 in the fourth and they still lost by 10.
And it's like 22 straight.
It did nothing.
That's a stat that I didn't understand.
It did nothing.
You scored 22 straight
and you didn't even make a dent. It's like, oh, they still won by 10. You know what I mean? So
okay, when you were watching the flow of the game, did you see the 22 straight? Were you like, yo, this dude is crazy?
So what
was it like?
So going into the fourth, up into the 8-minute mark, we was up by 20 in the fourth.
Okay.
And I said this before in the pod. This is actually overkill. We already been talked about this. But basically, I was saying that you have a big cushion, and the Lakers do this thing where like shoot it.
Oh, they just let them squeakily.
That's why I said that was false hope.
That was false hope.
It was so much false hope in that, and what Josh should have been doing was spreading that rock to his boys so they can get a rhythm. Ja got a rhythm. And that's playing into their game plan. They're like, Ja, we want you to go for 80. We want you to go for 60, for 70.
The Luke Kennard,
nothing.
Threes.
You're not getting
Bang,
Jackson, nothing. You're not getting nothing. So basically what they're stuck with now is Ja getting his and nobody else eating. That's why on Tuesday they won that game because they were spreading the rock around. The way you beat the Lakers is you spread the rock around. You make everybody guard. If you're going to make LeBron James just sit in the corner and watch Ja, he's happy. If you make LeBron James go contest the three, he's not happy. AD don't want to contest the three. But guess what? Next round, we could be playing the Warriors with Looney and Draymond. AD don't got to contest no threes. That's why I like that matchup. Because AD don't got to come out on a big. It's going to be a long night for that paint because he's going to sit. He's just going to sit in that paint right here and sit and sit and sit and sit. Yeah. And then when you bring him up on that Draymond and Curry pick and roll, he's going to smother Curry and he's going to force him to move it at a run. And then y'all just going to have to hit shots. That's how the Lakers play. The Lakers go, hey, we're going to shut down your, not your number one player. We're going to shut down the paint and then we're going to force one person to score. Who that person is on the Warriors, we don't know because we don't know about that series yet or the Kings. But they force one person to score and they shut down the paint. And the Memphis Grizzlies were the number one paint team in the league, more than the Lakers.
Oh, so y'all matched up perfect against them.
Bingo.
Perfectly.
That was the number one paint team in the league. And so now when they can't get in the paint, you're just getting bricks. And so that's why I'm saying it really doesn't help if they go down. If them boys go down fast, you can just cut the game off. You just turn the game off because like it's pretty much over.
You guys are the Lakers and like the only team that I've seen out of this playoffs that will switch players and play effectively based on who you are playing versus, hey, the other teams are like, these are our strengths, try to beat our strengths.
Versatile. They got versatility.
Right? So when it comes next round, honestly, I don't see Rui getting 30 minutes a game. You
He
know what
probably
I
will.
see? I see you get a lot of minutes from Vandy.
I see Schroeder.
I see Schroeder and Vandy. I see your pick dodgers.
I see Malik Beasley.
Yep. Reeves. And this might shock you. I think you see a little bit of Gabriel.
You might.
Because I don't think Rui would be fast enough to screen after screen after screen after screen after screen. I think you see a little bit more when you
I do think Rui will get about 20 minutes, but he probably won't be getting 30 minutes because if Steph Curry's on Rui, then you're just losing that battle. Yeah, you're just gonna lose that battle, and that's a switch that I can see that they would do, and Kerr will quickly find out what the Grizzlies found out. Quickly found out this guy's good. So I think what happens is Wiggins guards LeBron. I think Green will guard AD as usual, and I think Looney would just be on Vando. You would have Looney on Vando because he don't got to do nothing, just lurking, just helping. And then your bench with DaVincio and Peyton and all them, Reeves is going to have a tough job against them. So you know what I mean? So that's why I say with the Warriors, it comes down to LeBron and AD. The Grizzlies came down to everybody else. And this is the best defense we're facing in the playoffs. The Grizzlies is the best defense we're going to face. They got the defensive player of the year. They got Dylan Brooks. They got Bane. They got Tillman. They got great defenders.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a better defensive team in the playoffs than them. So this is why. Look at the scores. The scores is the proof.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like I feel like this is one of the toughest series defensively we'll face. Now offensively, the Lakers will be challenged next round if they move on.
Mm-hmm.
The Warriors or Kings will challenge them to make shots. They'll be like, hey, we're not guarding that again, Rui. We're not guarding that again, Reeves. We're not guarding that. Because, once again, Marcus will tell you, you got to give up something. You got to give up something. And you're not going to give up a LeBron James and
an AD post. This is not going to be AD. You get to eat for 30 one-on-one on the block.
Yeah, they're going to force them to hit those shots. And Memphis has been doing that, and we'll see if it works again tonight. So.
What I've learned is it's a multiple round playoff.
Yeah.
You know, Ruby, you get paid off. Not you did it one series. Mm-hmm. You get paid off. Did you do it the whole playoffs?
Yeah. So that was it for today. We'll be back on Wednesday with the highlights and probably some previews. So yeah, man. Thanks for joining us, Marcus. We're about to film those TikToks right now.
Yep.
And those shorts right now. We'll get those out to you guys.